Alright, let's see. Got so much to talk about. Where to begin? Well, I want to first do an Ant-Man and the Wasp review. There's actually a lot of things I want to do, but we're going to start there. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I saw it twice in theaters. I saw it in two very different theaters, and I almost want to do a video about that because it was kind of interesting. But briefly, this is another film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's the first one after Infinity War, and I think there's going to be one more, like Captain Marvel. I don't know what the order is. I think it's Captain Marvel and then the Infinity, whatever the next Infinity, the second part of that is. And it ties together. This is going to be very spoiler-free. Other than that, I just want to talk briefly. I've been reading a lot of reviews about it because I was very curious what other people thought about this film. I liked it a lot. I think I liked it more than most people did. Simply because going through this, once again, spoiler-free, but things I liked. One, it was a more complicated movie. The first one was just a heist film. Yes, there was a whole convoluted thing of him getting the suit and getting Hank Pym getting him on his side, and so on. But really, it's greedy bad guy wants revenge on sort of father figure. That character didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, he was just crazy. Maybe it was Pym particles. Maybe it was bad Pym particles. It wasn't really clear. But it was basically a heist film with shrinking. And that was one of the cool things. What can you do if you have shrinking powers? And the first film showed us there's actually quite a lot, and it was kind of interesting to watch. This film continues on that. What are other cool things you can do with shrinking powers? It just goes nuts with that premise, and that's awesome. It makes the fight scenes interesting. It makes the technology more. I mean, it's like, why would you dedicate your life to shrinking technology? And then it's like, oh wow, there's all sorts of cool, amazing things you can do, and you can also access the quantum realm, which is theoretical in the first one until the very end of it, and in this one they kind of delve into it literally a bit near the end. Unfortunately, one complaint about this film, going through complaints and my take on this film, one complaint is that the quantum realm wasn't explored more. I was actually fine with that, simply because I assume that's going to be like the premise, the seed of a premise for the third film, which there will be one. Two, there were also some complaints the villain was too simple or something like that. I don't see it. I thought this villain had plenty of motivations. Once again, not spoilers, but I thought the motivation of the villain wasn't greed. It wasn't really revenge or anything like that. It wasn't anything other than what the villain's motivation was. Like I said, I'm not spoiling that. Keep that a secret. There was a secondary villain. Also, I think it was mentioned in Infinity War that Scott Lang is under house arrest, so that whole thing creates kind of the FBI, I think it was, as a tertiary, not a villain, but an antagonist. So plenty of villains, or antagonists anyway, that were all differently motivated and interesting in their own way. And I was like, no, this is cool. There's a plethora of interesting characters who are well described to, I'm fine with them. I'm fine with absolutely all of them. So I think some people didn't review this movie as well. I mean, everyone seems to like this one. It's very good. Do see it if you haven't. But that was the two complaints. They didn't like the villain, or thought the villain was a little shallow. I disagree. And that the quantum realm wasn't explored. I kind of agree with that, but I think that's like Ant-Man and the Wasp third Ant-Man movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp 2? I don't know where they're going with that title-wise. Anyway, what else is there to say about this film? The humor. One of the great things about, I can't say this is specific to Ant-Man, Paul Rudd, what is his name? Paul Rudd, the actor who plays Scott Lang. Very funny, great chemistry with all the other characters. His daughter, uh, Hank Pym, God, just everyone. He works very well. He's very well suited for this character and for this role, and this character is well suited for this movie. 9/10 of the jokes landed for me, and every time I saw this movie twice, every time I went with people, the first time the person I went with was just chuckling almost nonstop. Second time I saw it, there were some quiet parts, but everyone around me was chuckling pretty much at some of the funnier jokes. I mean, this is a very well-made comedy. God, don't know how to peg some of these, but a lot of the Marvel movies have comedy in them. I think this could actually be described as a comedy. Action, adventure, sci-fi comedy. The weirdness of the ants and the over-numerousness almost of funny characters. The Louise and the other two ex-con guys, the main character, Hank Pym is kind of funny in parts too. I mean, it's just, even the bad guy's kind of a funny guy. I mean, it's a comedy. I'm just going to call it a comedy. So it's an effective one. The jokes fell for me. I thought they were great. Everything pretty much landed more or less. There were a few that were like, no, but all in all, it was funny and entertaining. I loved seeing it twice. Other than that, I mean, going on to the actual review itself, what are the odds you'll see this and not like it? It's a very good film. And even if, like I said, I've seen some reviews where it didn't land for people or not as much. Even the reviews where people didn't give it sterling reviews like I am, I guess. They said it was still good and enjoyable. It's a Marvel movie. It has one of those qualities where even if this isn't like your favorite movie ever, it has enough good parts to make it entertaining. The odds you're going to go into a movie theater and come out going, man, I wish I hadn't seen that, are extremely low. I mean, like, almost Guardians of the Galaxy low. I'd say easily, I'll just see it and not like it, 1 in 10 at best. I mean, this is a very good film, and even if this isn't your thing, there's enough enjoyable stuff you'll get by. Do I want to see it again? I saw it twice, so obviously the answer is yes. I do actually recommend seeing this movie twice. There's a lot going on. As I said, this is much more complicated than the first film. There's a lot more going on. I've heard some people say that was kind of a turnoff for them. To be fair, there's an awful lot going on in this film. There's a ticking time. There's the ticking clock kind of trope. There's the authorities are after them. Villain is after them. Other villain is after them. There's a lot going on in this film. Meanwhile, Scott, there's just a lot going on. So it's a complicated movie, but I think overall it works. I can't think of anything that just flat out fails. Nothing in this film just fails to hit home. And I think that goes a long way. But every time I'm saying this, I'm like, I want to call this a comedy because I can't just say there are comedic elements to it, because that's true of all Marvel movies at this point. There aren't any. Even Infinity War, which is mighty goddamn grim near the end, had a lot of funny stuff in it. Nothing really failed really hard. I mean, everything seemed to go through like all the other Marvel movies. Like all the other Marvel movies, it was very well shot. The effects are incredible. Even like kind of mind-blowing in a couple places. I thought they were really good. Like, it's a Marvel movie. So it's the level of quality you expect from a Marvel film has not diminished. Other than that, that's all I have to say about this film. It's a very good film. You should go see it.